Rey Mysterio, a man who is seen as a universal legend in the eyes of many, taking the wrestling world by storm with his incredible connection to the fans as he showcased his style and love in lucha libre, while also mastering the pure storytelling of being the ultimate underdog due to his size of not being like the rest. And in terms of presence, he stood out unlike any other, as not many luchadors were really around or given much of a chance to showcase the potential to an American audience, while Rey Mysterio got to be the lucky one and got to do that. The legend of Rey Mysterio will live on from now until many years to come, but even with that, still can't hide away from the mere sabotage given to his history, and that comes from his first reign as World Heavyweight Champion. Hola amigos, my name is Nando, and for today's video I'm going to be covering Rey's worst year in WWE, and that year is 2006. So sadly this run has to start with the death of Eddie Guerrero, passing away on November 13th, 2005, and this still holds as one of wrestling's biggest tragedies, as Eddie Guerrero was wrestling. He knew how to put a match together, he knew how to get the crowd invested in his matches, he had charisma that leaves him to be one of one in this world, because no one is going to be replicating the persona of Eddie Guerrero. Well, actually they tried, but then the booker got bored. Either way, Eddie was an inspiration to many wrestlers, and his death has been a reason as to why many couldn't stand to watch WWE anymore, because he was what kept them watching. Raw had set up a tribute show for Eddie where multiple wrestlers showed their love and stories about him, and even wearing an armband with his name on it. And the WWE wanted to dedicate their love to Eddie by putting on what could be considered as a tribute match, as Shawn took on Rey Mysterio in a lovely fun match to which Rey Mysterio won, but you could see Rey was just struggling to compose himself over the death of his own friend. And that became the driving force to tell a story of a man trying to accomplish a dream within the love and tribute of his passing brother. So in the 2006 Royal Rumble match, Rey Mysterio entered the match at number 2, and even with the odds stacked against him, Rey managed to pull off the W, and even going into WrestleMania 22 to win the whole thing. Being recognized as the now underdog champion, Rey's career can now relish at the top because he had the spirit of Eddie and the connection and the support of the audience that helped guide him to the pure joy of victory. And on the Smackdown after WrestleMania, Rey defended his world champion against Randy Orton. They had a pretty good match and Rey still got the W. That's his first title defense as a world champion. That's my boy. The streak lives on. How long can this sweet fairy tale go on for? It immediately died after that night. Yeah, sorry. So the next week on SmackDown, Kurt Angle proclaims that it's Randy's fault that he's lost the world champion because he took the pin in their triple threat match, so he's going to make him pay in their King of the Ring match. So Kurt went in and did exactly that. You would think Randy punted Kurt Angle's mother for some reason from the way that Kurt Angle was locking in that ankle lock. And Kurt Angle kept this energy forward for the next week as he took on Rey Mysterio for the world champion. Bro was tossing Rey like a damn doll out there. You'd wonder how the hell Rey's wrestling to this day. But all the effort meant nothing as Mark Henry came in to cause the DQ. And the first thing bro does is toss Rey Mysterio out like paper. This is your world champion, and bro threw him out like he was litter, man. And we never see Rey after this. Bro just got swung into the abyss and never to be seen again. Then the next night, Rey opened the show to show his gratitude of becoming a world champion up until his next challenger JBL arrives to be nothing more than a racist threat towards Rey, calling him a masked illegal immigrant and made constant racist remarks against Mexicans. Like, dude, JBL was a different breed of having a gimmick that should have had his ass beat up by the public on a weekly basis. How he managed to get away with all of that, I will never know. But the main point of the promo was Rey stating that he can face anyone, anytime. So JBL took that to heart and had Rey take on Mark Henry. Mark Henry, that ain't bald Henry, that ain't I only make garbage takes on podcast Henry, that is the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. So Mark doesn't even wrestle Rey, he was built to kill him. Rey even hit Mark with a 619, Mark no-sells it to hit his world's strongest slam to beat Rey clean in the ring. And just when you think, okay, he's beaten Rey enough. Nah, because why does Mark drag Rey to the stage so that he can jump off a high platform to land on him? Brother, what did Rey do? It's so bad that JBL, the heel in all this, has to find some heart in his non-existent soul to actually plead with Mark to not end Rey right now. You know the beating's gonna be so bad when JBL has to show some sympathy for you. So you think, dang, that was rough, man. At least we're over with that. No, JBL was not satisfied. Bro saw Rey was still breathing around in his prisons and thought that this man needed to pray for his sins. So he brought out the Great freaking Khali! Great Khali was one of WWE's biggest ops on the roster. No, I lie. This was SVR 2007 worth of being the biggest op. This man was a monster. Bro could barely walk, but yet he was still a boulder to take down. His Titantron is probably top 5 Titantrons of all time. His Titantron gave me chills as a kid whenever his entrance came up in the game. Oh, and also look at Dominic Mysterio with his haircut. That bro's hair was already manifesting a career in the WWE. And this is where Rey and Khali create this very iconic shot where he tries his best, but he's getting beat up so bad by this freaking Godzilla, putting him down like a child. Khali won in 3 minutes, and that was that. And you can just see how little Rey's family cares about their man of the house dying right in front of them. Okay, I think Rey's had enough monsters to deal with right now, to which JBL could see that, and that's why he asked Rey, hey, what's the date today? And Rey thinks to himself, is this dude stupid? Are you dense, bro? Like, the date is obviously May 19th. Oh. Out comes Kane, a Raw superstar who somehow teleported to Smackdown because he heard someone yell May 19th, which was a storyline that Kane was doing where May 19th was the day his parents died in a fire. So for anyone who brings up May 19th, Kane kills them. And this was all just a marketing stunt to help promote his new movie called See No Evil. So Rey, who, let me remind you, is the World Heavyweight Champion. But even with that, he still gets thrown around like a local competitor. Rey gets 0 offense in this match. It's quite embarrassing. Bro is bleeding from all this, and you want to know the worst part is? Oh, the crowd is motivating Rey by chanting Eddie's name, which might be a hot take to some because yes, I know this whole road to getting the world champion was a whole Eddie Guerrero tribute, but like JBL makes a great point about how this crowd never cheers for Rey Mysterio, they only chant for Eddie. So imagine being in Rey's state right now. You're bleeding and bloody and you're beaten up like a sack of potatoes and the crowd is cheering you by chanting another dude's name. I'm not sure that's gonna really motivate his chances of getting out people, like come on. And JBL's insulting Rey through commentary and Michael Cole has the gall to say,
I mean, the bottom line is Mysterio's a great champion. Mysterio's a fighting champion.
Fighting champion. Fighting champion. Fighting champion where? Show me where Rey is being a fighting champion right now, because all I've seen is Rey being dropped like a child on weeks on end. And the only time Rey gets offense is because May 19th continues to haunt Kane as it interrupts the match. So Rey goes in for the 619 and holy crap, that move does nothing. He goes for the chokeslam and Kane is too traumatized to even pin Rey right now. So JBL goes to encourage Rey and goes,
don't freak out on me now, Kane. I don't speak monster, Kane. You gotta get him.
Then JBL says May 19th. Then JBL eats the floor, and that's it. The match never concluded. Who was supposed to look good here? So it's the Judgment Day pay-per-view where Rey takes on JBL for the world champion. Rey is pretty much eating dirt like always. He's bleeding through the mask, but at least he's getting some kind of offense. 619, ref goes down. JBL tries to use a weapon and Rey uses the weapon to his advantage to get the win from JBL. Rey finally got a dub, and it's only because he needed to cheat to win. Like, my word! What a great way to put over your babyface world champion. Then on Smackdown, JBL came to complain about his loss to Rey, so Rey will come back and trick JBL into saying that he can face anyone at any time, leading Rey to pull up Bobby Lashley to come out and squash JBL for the US champion in quick fashion. So JBL was even more pissed at Rey and decided to yell this out to the Smackdown GM, Teddy Long, with JBL proclaiming that he will quit Smackdown if he doesn't get his rematch with Rey. So Teddy makes that a deal. So during the match, the ref goes down, Rey's children gets hit, Chavo eats some CTE, then Rey takes out JBL's kids. He uses the chair to his advantage once again to help him get the W. That's 2 wins in a row where Rey needs to cheat in order to win. Rey is booked to suck as a world champion. Then on the next week, Kurt Angle was set to face Rey Mysterio in his farewell match as Kurt Angle was getting drafted to ECW. They had a really good match as always, but they had Kurt Angle beat Rey Mysterio through countouts. Rey is your world champion and Kurt doesn't even work there anymore. I understand you need Kurt to be built up as your big star draft for ECW, but dear lord, he's Kurt freaking Angle. Like, If you want him to look strong, let him beat someone else. Not your freaking world champion. Then there was ECW One Night Stand. Rey Mysterio took on Sabu. Now, that's some great match potential here. But then WWE saw that and was like, yo, let's end this ECW match in a no contest. That's right, because this match became so infamous for the fact that WWE thought it was a great idea to do a no contest angle on a brand known for the wrestlers going through much more tragic incidents and accidents and still going through with the match. But don't worry guys, because Rey does come back and look strong and win in a convincing fashion. And it's because he beat the Cruiserweight champion Gregory Helms. They gave Rey his first clean win in so many months, and it was due to him beating a lower mid-card guy. Brilliant! Then Rey, our fighting champion, had to defend his world champion against Mark Henry. With the ref going down, so Chavo had to help Rey, but that does nothing. So Rey takes advantage by hitting a 619 on Mark with the chair, and guess what? That doesn't even work! The 619 is booked to look like the most sack of ass signature in wrestling. Like, oh my gosh, does this move do nothing? So Chavo has to go in and help Rey again by pulling an Eddie Guerrero where they made it seem like Mark was attacking Rey with the chair, leading Rey to win by DQ. Your world champion does nothing but get worked 99% of the time and only prevails when his buddy has to help him cheat to win his matches. Why did they think this was a good idea? Then for the very next week, Batista went to take on Mark Henry for the main event as Batista wants revenge for Mark Henry injuring him. And the match never really went anywhere as Rey attacked Mark Henry from behind. But that literally does nothing as Rey gets dropped in an instant. And guess what? We never see Rey again after this. He was just booked to look like ass for the sake of just looking like ass. So Booker T just won a battle royal that makes him Rey's next challenger for the world champion. So Booker would send in William Regal, his servant, to take Rey out himself. But Regal would sadly fall short even with Booker's interference, and then after the match, Rey would 619 Booker T to stand tall. Guys, I don't want to alarm you, but Rey Mysterio, the world champion, just got booked to look as strong as a world champion. Oh my gosh. I know. I'm shocked too. Where was this energy since WrestleMania, my dog? So at Great American Bash, Booker T took on Rey Mysterio for the world champion. With the ref going down and Rey's bestie, Chavo Guerrero, coming in, but only for the sake of plot twist. Yes, I wore the shirt just for this bit. For the sake of betraying Rey Mysterio. It was shocking, and this led Booker T to defeat Rey Mysterio and become the new world champion. Rey would get his rematch for the title the very next week, even pulling up with his gear that will be used for the Smackdown vs. Raw 2007 video game. But Chavo came out to cost Rey the match once again, leading Booker to retain. Chavo explains he betrayed Rey Mysterio because he felt he was using Eddie Guerrero's death as a way to capitalize on his own career. So Rey came to kick his ass, but Vicky Guerrero came out to stop it. With this personal beef leading to a match at SummerSlam in which Chavo won because Vicky's clumsy ass was trying to stop them from fighting by accidentally costing Rey the match. So Vicky comes out on SmackDown to apologize for her actions to Rey and Chavo, but Chavo was like, nah, this dude needs to die, grabbing a chair for himself, only for Vicky to stop Chavo from attacking Rey even more, just so she could do it herself. Vicky is now aligned with Chavo Guerrero, with the Guerrero family basically disowning Rey out of their family. So Rey went to face Chavo at No Mercy in a Falls Count Anywhere match, to which Rey won by doing exactly what Mark Henry was trying to do after their match together. But they had a rematch on SmackDown in an I Quit match, to which Chavo was beating Rey's legs so bad that he had to quit. Now see, this is the kind of beating that led to Rey Mysterio having to have surgery 5 times on his left knee, which is actually what happened because Rey had to take time off as he needed knee surgery. Coming back to SummerSlam 2007 where he got his revenge and licked back against Chavo Guerrero. And that finally concludes of what was the worst year of Rey Mysterio's career. He won the Rumble, he had his WrestleMania moment, and then he just kept sucking. He always looked like a bum, he never looked strong, and yet, hell, he didn't even pin the world champion to even get the belt. You could just tell they had no trust in Rey being their top company guy for them. He was just the moment champion and nothing more. Title win this, accomplishment that, but his pushes were never consistent even when it should have been because Rey was a once-in-a-lifetime performer that generated worldwide fame due to what he could do in the ring. He helped American wrestling get used to and accept this lucha lucha libre style of wrestling. And maybe giving the world champion helped them accept and realize that they can make champions and stars out of people who aren't always 6-foot jacked up dudes. No matter the size, Rey always made us believe that no matter who you are, you can always be bigger than what you could ever imagine. And that's why Rey Mysterio is the GOAT. And that's why you guys should subscribe, because we're on the road to, I have no idea, my last video is like popping off like crazy, like I didn't expect it at all. Just subscribe, because we're on the road to that number +5. Who knows? But thank you. Like the video, subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll get you on the next one. Booyaka!